The stream is live.
Yeah, we should be good to go now. What's up,
Woo-hoo!
everybody?
The stream is live, but we are not.
All right. All right. So we are alive. What's up, Black Angus? Put him up there. There, he just said
Hey.
interesting.
Are we though?
How you doing?
Man, I'm
Well,
excited to talk about all this stuff. I've been like this topic has been blowing up all over Twitter. Like
mm-hmm.
I'm excited to talk about it.
Well, you're the artist, so
Am I
out of the two of us, you are.
the shortest
Um, Put it up on Twitter that we're alive now.
on the wicked Twitter
You're going to jail now.
on the X? X gonna give it to you.
Let me see if I can pull up some of this stuff while we're just getting started or waiting on people.
Word.
Let's give it just another minute, I guess. But on the topic of 3D models and AI art, um, what's your general opinion, Josh? I'm sure we have to go back over it again, but what's your general opinion?
I think that yeah, there's so many programs on the market that do it now, and the fact that they've got it on everybody's cell phones and goofballs that have never tried to draw before can put in a prompt and get a picture out of it. I think is probably not the best thing for the world, but AI is a tool, man. Like it can be useful. I've said before, AI can be very useful to help you get an idea for a certain composition. Sometimes the color palette that it throws out is a great starting, like springboard for where you might take your pictures. 3D assets. Like for example, I have, I think what it's called. I have an app that's basically just like a 3D head model. It's a head model studio, and it lets you adjust. Like it'll give you a model, and it'll let you adjust the angle, and you can get an idea of where how the lighting hits it. But I would never like scan that in and trace it. Like it's a good tool to help you get an idea of how do I want to compose this angle. How would the light hit this. But I know we'll go way into this, but I feel like it's a useful tool that's being overused and abused right now, and it's creating some really less than stellar artwork. And I think people are starting to realize it and call people on it. It's
Looting and
lazy.
saluting is not the way.
It's lazy. Like if you're an artist, or if you're going to call yourself an artist, it's fine to have that in your toolbox, but it's not okay to rely on it.
Yeah, I figured that's what we would get into.
And there's a lot of issues. Like there's a lot of ways that it's has a negative effect on the art that you're trying to create that I'd love to talk about. But for just for general thoughts, it's a useful tool. But if you abuse it and misuse it, it leads to embarrassment on your end and some crappy comics.
All both of those things. So this is like one of the things that kicked it off.
Yep.
That people found out that the truck, it wasn't just the truck, but this is kind of what started. The truck from Ice 2 was a 3D asset,
Mm-hmm.
and a poorly traced one.
Yeah, from SketchUp.
Yeah, and I had never heard of this. I had no idea. This is how stupid I am. I had no idea this even existed. But you were like, "Oh yeah, that's a real thing."
Yeah, I mean, I've used SketchUp before with cityscape stuff to give me just for a general idea of what angle I'd want the buildings and stuff to look like. But then you take that and then you draw a picture from that as a springboard. You don't do what this guy did and just trace it and hope people won't notice.
Well, that's the thing is I've got the 3D warehouse. It's called 3D Warehouse SketchUp, And I guess it's just general kind of boring stuff like this. Am I right? Like stuff no one likes to draw.
Right. And a lot of people use this for businesses putting together, like if you're
Yeah.
a carpenter, or if you're setting up a house for sale and you want to like put together a floor plan, it's a very useful tool, incredibly useful tool for that kind of a thing. But if you're going to try to sell that as art and say that I drew this, then you got a different, that's a whole different story.
Well, is it stuff like because I'm familiar with AutoCAD.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm talking about for like
Mm-hmm.
floor plans and actual buildings and that kind of stuff. I guess these kind of go hand in hand if you want to do interior design ideas
Well,
with
and you can
that.
get like you can the 3D warehouse has a lot of options. A lot of it's free. It's stuff that people have uploaded for free. There's models. Some of it, there are things that you can buy, models that you can buy. But like if you'll click on models and then
Yeah.
and go to the search bar, there's a lot of stuff. Like you could click on the models thing beside products.
All right.
Yeah, click on models and then go in the search bar and put in like New York City.
Well, they already have the plane there.
Oof. All right, so like you can pull up whole models of New York City
Wow.
and view it in 3D, and like it's a good place to start if you're doing a Spider-Man comic and you want it to actually look like New York and have the architecture correct. It's not a bad place to start. The problem is when you got people who are fulfilling their like they're saying I drew this, and they literally are just copying and pasting a SketchUp asset into their
Yeah.
comic and then saying they drew it.
Yeah, and you'd think you would do that. Now, here's my thing. I'm gonna go ahead and say this. I don't know how long we're gonna be streaming tonight because I'm tired. But like, this seems like this is already sparking my creativity. Me as a person who's not even an artist, I could use this in unbelievably creative ways. Like,
Yeah, it would be
and
fantastic if you were planning
yeah,
if you were planning a short film or something and you wanted an idea of the
yeah.
angles you want to get for your shots and where you want to place your camera. It's very useful as a tool.
Well, I'm saying you could even make you could make a comic book with this interesting and cool. All you need to do is like add some more effects. Like, you just have to work within the confines of it. If you know zero art, like someone like
Yeah, yeah,
me,
yeah.
you could still use this to make something. What you wouldn't do though is just drop this in a comic.
Right.
You would add some effects, you would recolor some things, and you would change like perspectives. But I mean, or you could go with it and you could make something that look like Reboot. You could lean into it. You see what I'm
Well,
saying?
and
Yeah.
this, so there's a whole different side of this where if you're an amateur, and there's nothing wrong with that. If you're an amateur and you got an idea and you just want to make your own little comic book, you're not trying to sell it necessarily. You just want to make it.
Yeah.
You just have an idea, you want to make it. Then yeah, stuff like this. If you don't draw and you don't know an artist and you still want to try to make something, then yeah, this is a tool that makes that possible.
Well,
AI makes that stuff possible.
yeah. Well, also, like you were saying, like not only would it could be good for laying out a short film, what is storyboarding, but you could
Mm-hmm.
storyboard a comic with this.
Exactly. And
You could,
I
yeah,
don't see any problem with doing that as long as that storyboard is not what ends up being what somebody's trying to pay for. And that's another side of these AI things, which I mean, the
yeah,
3D assets, not the same thing necessarily as the AI, but the problem with the AI is you can't really sell that stuff because it's drawing elements from a lot of other people's artwork and cobbling it together into something new. That's a really shady area of ethics as far as you know using that stuff and trying to claim that it's your art.
yeah. Look, behold, a pig.
Man, those pigs look like God drew them left-handed.
Yeah, it's I can see this being very useful if someone, even for a well experienced artist, to get an idea, to get a perspective. But you're right, you wouldn't
Well,
drag and
like
drop
put
it.
in
But
go up there into the search bar and put in shopping mall.
yeah, and
All
I
right,
actually saw
so
where somebody, I think in ISOM they used something like this almost like one of these direct pictures.
yeah, I mean, and it's you got to use it as a springboard. You can't use it as the art. But like it could give you a really good idea for how you want to lay out an action scene that's happening in a shopping center.
Well, this looks like the opening of a Marvel comic.
Yeah,
This looks like a panel that would be right before something exploded and like the Fantastic Four came in. But
yeah.
then again, maybe that's one reason those comics have been so boring recently. Is,
Mm-hmm.
but and I saw people being like, "Oh, well, manga uses it all the time." And like, well, let's be honest, man. A lot of manga has really bad backgrounds,
Mm-hmm.
really boring backgrounds, and they spend all the design on the character. And I get it; it's character focused.
Mm-hmm.
But I always forget his name. Is it Michael Turner that did Witchblade and Soulfire? Is that Michael
Mm-hmm.
Turner?
I remember Silvestri working on some of it.
I wasn't. It wasn't Sylvester. Let me see. Michael. I think it was Turner. Soulfire. Yeah, and unfortunately, I think he died of cancer not too long ago. Poor guy. Yeah, he did Soulfire, which if no one has that, they should just because of the art while he
Yeah, the
was
art
on
was
it.
phenomenal in that book. I
And
haven't read it, but I've looked at enough of it because you've mentioned it several times. The artwork
oh
is
yeah, he's such a
fantastic.
fantastic. I think he was like the first on Witchblade. Now he was discovered by Silvestri. That's what's funny.
Okay,
Yeah, he did he got his job doing backgrounds.
I got you.
He got the job doing the background illustrations for Witchblade.
Okay.
And but his whole thing was people he got into business because he could do backgrounds so well and so fast. And
Well, and
yeah.
speaking as an artist that works on comic books, sometimes that's a fun thing for me, but there's a lot of times where I'm like, man, I do not look forward to drawing all this stuff in the background.
Yeah.
And it's important and it needs to be there, but like I can 100% see how you could take something from here and use it as a place where you're like, okay, this is my starting point. These are my basic structures. This is my angles, all that stuff. Instead of having to do it the old fashioned way where you got your point and your straight edge and all your like your compass and all that stuff. Like I can see the benefit of this, but you've got to take it and then add artistry to it. It's not art right now.
Yeah. No, and that's the thing. Is like it looks very boring. I
No, it
don't
is
know.
boring because it's not
Yeah.
art.
I don't know why you would just. I mean, let's be honest. Let's get the elephant out of the way. Like, ISOM is not a good comic. Like, it's a very bad comic actually, and I gotta be honest, man. I feel kind of bad for Eric July. Like, I didn't really know him, or really wasn't didn't keep up with him until like the this kind of stuff happened. But you gotta feel bad that this guy is kind of like rightfully being dogged on because of this kind of stuff and his bad writing. And even though the dude's made millions of dollars, literally, you still have to feel bad. It's like, man, his like dream is being like eaten alive by the internet. Like, and that's kind of feel awful. I mean, maybe he doesn't care, maybe he doesn't feel it.
I
But
don't
if it were
know.
me, I'd be like, oh god, especially if I had
just
talked,
Shinji, just Shinji
yeah.
in a chair.
Well, especially if I had talked up such a big game, like if someone wants to rip apart Apollyon, that's not
Rip
going to
a verse
bother me.
apart.
Oh man, but yeah, I mean, even the color is bad, and this is just
Well,
one picture.
and look, go to the one of the castle.
The
Man,
beer
that
stein.
castle, yeah, it looks like a beer stein. And see, that's the other thing I was going to get into of the issues with using AI is that there's a lot of stuff that AI doesn't really understand,
Yeah,
and it creates weird crap sometimes. And so you get something that looks like a beer stein or something weird that doesn't look like architecture at all.
yeah,
That handle thing on there makes it look small and it doesn't look like a castle. It doesn't look like a building. You can't
yeah,
even tell. Like, it doesn't even look like it's made of bricks or anything. Like if he had gone in and added any kind of texture to those walls, it could have enhanced that. You
yeah,
know. And then when it comes to using it for people, especially superheroic type figures with these physiques, AI is terrible with anatomy. Like it's worse than Rob Liefeld with anatomy. So like you end up with like you're just tracing over an AI person, and then you've got like a 13 pack abs and like like it's ridiculous because it doesn't look like actual human musculature and stuff.
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't think they used any AI in the book, but the whatever they use, like whatever 3D modeling thing they did use for ice, like for the people, like it's awful. Like
Yeah,
this
you're
looks terrible.
the main characters are fine. It's really the background characters that look awful.
Well, kind of, but like even like this punch right here looks awful. Like you don't show who is it that said it like in comments, like you don't show the impact, you show like the aftermath. You know what I mean?
I
Like you
don't
don't. Yeah,
I don't really have a problem with that particular frame of it. I have a lot. I do think it's a little boring
yeah.
and
They're very boring looking,
yeah,
and like this looks like a model
yeah,
that came out of a machine.
yeah. It's not very dynamic is the
Yeah,
biggest thing. There's no style to it. I think that's the biggest thing is that there's nothing that you would look at that and recognize. Oh, this looks like a Jim Lee drawing. This looks like a Todd McFarlane. There's no actual style to that.
yeah. And I think that's the main thing. I don't want to spend so much time ripping this guy, but he did unintentionally like rip off like a huge band-aid on comics,
Mm-hmm.
and that is that because he did it so loudly and so stupidly.
Go back to that Google search tab.
Yep.
Man, look how awesome that Swamp Thing cover was down there by Wrightson.
Oh, this. Yeah.
Yeah, look how awesome that is. So much cooler than anything else on that page. Look how dynamic that is. God
It's
dang
just
it.
all this guy had to do was make something okay, and it would have been fine. You know. I don't know if he read it. Like, look at this. Like, if someone handed, like, if you handed me this art, I'd be like, this sucks. Like, it's
That punch at the top is funny.
yeah, like, and none of it looks superhero-y. I don't know. It looks
It's a weird. It's hard to follow what's going on in that.
yeah. He hits this guy. This guy comes through the door. This guy comes through the door after. That's a
Okay, yeah,
weird. That's a weird switch. And then
it's a weird angle too.
this is a weird angle to take. But then, like, look here. Where are these windows? Because there he is.
Yeah,
He comes in the door. Unless this right here is not this one, but way over here, the next one that is here.
yeah, it's
Well,
bizarre.
well then where's the window here? It's like there's no in. And then where is this? And who is this? Is that ice? And then again, like where? What is this background? What is this?
Yeah, I'm not sure what that's supposed to be.
Yeah, none of these walls.
Well, and that's what you get is you get all these random weird little artifacts that don't look they like at a distance at first glance it doesn't look like it's passable, but then the more you look at it the more wrong it looks. Like look at that last frame, all that stuff in the background is what is all that?
Yeah, there's windows here on his left shoulder. Here's his left shoulder now. Those windows aren't there.
Yeah,
And
what
then
is all that?
and then what is this on his right side when we saw this on his right side?
Yeah, it makes no sense.
Yeah, there's
Yeah, it's
yeah.
just it's bizarre, but that's what you end up with when you let a computer spit something out and then you just kind of trace over it or run some filters on it and
Yeah.
drop it in a background. You get stuff that doesn't actually make sense. It doesn't connect to anything.
And it's like he when he's punching the guy here, where's this door come from? And where's
Yeah,
this door come from?
yeah. Did Stanley Kubrick create this room? It's like The Shining.
Yeah, that is
Well, and go back to
that's
the
weird.
man. I feel like such a butt wipe. But if you look at this back, these windows, that's the same window shape or whatever window or picture frame that behind the girls. It's just copy pasted 3 times the exact same little element.
Yeah, and then like the color on it has changed. And
And
the color's not good either. And like this looks weird too. Like this hand.
it,
It's like his thumb. You see what I'm saying? Like his
yeah, it's
thumb is
backwards.
there.
Yeah, it's backwards.
Oh my god, it's a right hand.
Yeah.
Because it's like,
Yeah.
oh,
That's what I'm saying. The more you look at it, the more
the
it like
worse it gets.
it's like our bodies.
And then who is this guy? Who's this guy he just hit? It's not this guy, and it's not this guy.
I don't know. It's crazy. It's not good.
Then catch the street. Yeah, it's weird. It's like an AI wrote and made this. It's really weird. Like, yeah, I feel kind of
My
bad too.
beef is not with you. Take me to your master. Master. Master.
Well, the dreams that I've been after. Yeah, this looks better. He should have did the comic in this style.
It's probably not his art.
This is he did pay some guys to do the like an animation trailer or
Yeah.
whatever. They should have done the comic in this style.
Yeah, that looks cool.
Cause like, look at this.
Oh yeah, that looks dope.
Yeah, that's like that's almost Bruce Timm.
Yeah, that's
Whoever
cool.
did, I don't know if anyway he should have got.
He's giving us Spock live long and prosper down there.
You got a She-Ra or whatever her name is from Kim Possible.
She go, yeah.
She go.
She go. She go. She go hard.
She gone.
She go hard. It do go down.
But I don't know, man. Like I don't want to sit here and poke fun, but like even like look at the how large the panels are here. Like the separation.
Yeah, that's a
of the
very
panels.
boring layout.
Yeah. Anyway, what I'd rather talk about though is the potential for this stuff. All right, hold on, Black Angus. Let's see if I can get help eyes on it. Y'all trying to track the room. I don't know what that means. My favorite part is when they fight again. Did y'all see that failure post? By this book does not stop giving. Sending in your DMs. I'll check it. I'll check it. Angus.
Dude, it's been EBS has been going after this thing all week. It's been fun to watch, but like, oh Lord.
Yeah, that's the thing, man. It's. I mean, if people want to talk about this, we can talk about it. I just don't know how this happens. To me, this is. Remember, Cool Hand Luke. Like, what we've got here is a failure to communicate.
Well, I think what happens is you get somebody that thinks, okay, because I've got enough of a name and a platform, and I've got the money for it, that's all it takes to make a good comic. And then you actually look at it and realize, wow, this is really uninspired. Look at that bow. Is it supposed to be in his hand? How is that supposed to work?
Right. Oh, it's got a handle.
How is that? How are you supposed to shoot that bow?
Yeah, that's not how bows work, but at least it has a handle of some kind. Guys, I didn't pay for this. I didn't pay for ISOM, so like, I have to look it up online for free.
Oh,
all right, let me see what Angus here sent me. Shout out to Angus. He says sent. I'll say thanks. All right. LMAO, oh no. We're Alpha Core and failure is not what
All right, let's address the disaster of yesterday. Oh, mercy.
And like this floor is kind of giving me a headache. Like look how it. You see what I'm saying? Like the perspective is all wrong of how. This is clearly like a flat image that was laid down.
Yeah. Well, and it doesn't. None of that looks like
yeah.
functional stuff. It just is a bunch of random texture for no purpose.
Well, it also doesn't. It's like these are steps.
Are they?
Yeah, but they're not. And then this right here is supposed to have like I don't know. It feels like there should be shading here.
Yeah, I think those are supposed to just be like panels on the floor, but it doesn't read very well.
Somebody said, "Look at those trip hazards."
Yeah, he's tripping all right.
Yeah, it's I don't think a human saw this book while it was being made.
All right, let's address the disaster again today. Man, that's hilarious.
Let me pull something else up here.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh god, you're
go
collecting
back.
data.
Was that the spaceship is from? That does look a lot like.
The
I don't think it's
Defiant.
exactly the same, but it does look a lot like it.
Well, didn't you put the Clone Wars ship in our book?
According to somebody, I don't know where that came from. I don't think it was.
No, it
Whatever.
has the guns on it and the
Yeah,
wings. That's how you
yeah.
designed it. Black Angus reviews. This book is worth every penny. Ripa has kept us entertained for like a year.
I mean, hey.
You probably didn't, but did you see my comments about the advert page not making sense?
I didn't. Yeah, we didn't see that.
Was it the advert that was like about his wife's shop or whatever? Was it that one?
I'm not sure.
Let me get back into this. Yeah, there we go. The advert, the advert page of the bikini girl's ass. No,
No, we didn't see
is
that.
it on this right here?
You might have to send it to us again, but that's
Yeah,
man.
please do. Without context, it reads right to left instead of left.
I think that's also one of those things where I feel like that's one of those things where there was no oversight, there was no accountability. It just got put together and put out. It's like the Cats movie.
It's the page he uses to shill all the time. It's the Cats movie. It's the Cats movie of comics.
Isom originally had a butthole and they erased it.
Are you serious?
No.
That'd be hilarious.
That's what happens with the cats. All the cats originally had little anuses, and they decided to digitally remove the anuses from cats.
I don't even know what's following Eric. But like I said, like I don't know, I didn't really know much about him until this book came out, and then I started seeing reviews because I talked with Black Angus about it. Like I saw the book, and I was like, that doesn't look good, and I'm not paying that much money for it. Oof.
Oof.
And that wound looks pretty bad.
Hold on, go back to that.
He did like a white.
Go back to the wound. Looks pretty bad.
Yeah.
All right. For a second there, it almost looked like there were 5 fingers on that hand, but it's not. I don't think.
You mean 6?
I mean, yeah, 6.
All right, so
5 fingers and a thumb is what I meant.
The bikini ad. I still don't know what Yaira's powers are. Does anybody? I know she's strong, but like, does she freeze stuff?
She's a white woman.
So she speaks to the manager?
She's a Karen.
That looks better.
Yeah, it does look pretty good.
That actually, I mean, that's not super awesome, but it's better than what we got. I think this book, I forgot who said it, but it was someone on Black Angus Reviews site or video actually where he's like, we're not getting like an ISOM number 10. Like that's not gonna happen. He's like, we're gonna get like this, and then we're gonna get like Yaira. We're gonna get like 3 of each, and then like it's just gonna be done from there.
You know, and I will say this.
Like that looks awesome.
That does look cool.
I would buy a comic of that.
I'll say this. I don't want to see this person fail. I don't want to see anything in indie fail. The best thing that this dude can do is like take all this stuff in, learn from it, you know,
apologize for it.
Own it, and then do better going forward. Because I don't want to see food. That looks awesome.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He should have got whoever did this to also do the comic.
Yeah,
like how they used to do like DuckTales and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's incredible. But yeah, I feel like I want this dude to succeed. Like I want this to go in a positive direction. I don't want to see anybody fail. You know, so like I definitely wouldn't sit back and wish failure on this dude or anybody else, especially in indie. I'll wish failure on Marvel and DC.
That looks great.
Yeah, that does look great.
Hey, Eric, get that guy to do the book.
Right?
Who is this? Is it him? Is it this guy?
If it,
Get that guy to do it. If
yeah,
it's
for
him,
real.
it says
You can't cut corners.
Rippaverse will be making very good comics in a few years.
I mean, hopefully they will.
Eric is slamming through failure cycles, which are growth cycles. I don't know if you're being serious, but that's funny.
I mean, I hope that he does. Like, I hope that he takes all this, learns from it, and continue. Because
that doesn't look good.
I mean, comic books need to get awesome again.
Yeah, that does not look good. Why is he wearing sweatpants?
I don't know if those
there's
are
the strings.
I think that's like a zipper. I can't tell.
Whatever. James says it's serious. It's the terminology. Fail fast. It's how you succeed. Yeah, that's a good idea. Actually.
Yeah.
Get all the bad.
Yeah, get it out the way. Yeah. Yeah, I really want to see. I want to see this dude succeed. I want to see all of us succeed. And is that it?
Is that it? That looks.
That is a bikini.
Does it read right? Is this the one that reads right to left?
I don't think
this
so.
looks flatter than her butt. The art does. Oh my gosh. This is just boring, man. And it's weird. It's weird seeing this explosion and then the crash. I don't know. I can't. It just hurts my head, man. Well, thanks, James, for finding it for us, man. Sigma, Centurion, Harry Woman, thanks for joining, man.
Hairy women.
Hairy women. That's what those lines look like. That reads as him crawling out of the water to get the mask, not him getting yanked out of the water.
It does. It really does.
I didn't even realize it.
I didn't even realize it was a mask. It looked like a shoe.
Not him getting yanked out of the water after landing. It turns into a manga for a second.
Yeah, that's weird.
And the fact that it reads that way too, it's like the people they're running. They were here and then they're running here.
Yeah, it's weird.
That's so
and
strange.
I wouldn't have put the little people's feet underneath that woman. It looks like there's a bunch of tiny little people carrying that woman on a chair. Like Gulliver's Travels.
Yeah, that's weird, man. That is so weird. I don't know, man. Like I said earlier, like you don't want to completely laugh at somebody's pain, but when it's something this bad, it's like those Neil Breen movies, or who's the guy that made The Room? It's kind of like that.
Yeah.
So, has anyone read this book? Like, do these bad guys, does The Thing and Electro, do they appear in the book?
Like, that does look like The Thing.
About? I mean, I'll be going over it with Black Angus Saturday night.
Is that dude at the top that dude at the top that's flying looks thick, bro?
There's something wrong with the leg anatomy here. Like the way it blends right here.
I can't tell if he's muscular or fat.
That's how you know he's fat.
Yeah, that's weird, man.
It's this. It's here's the top of the leg, and you can't tell if that's where like the thigh start or the shin starts, or if it's.
I think that's all still the shin or the thigh because there's boot down at the bottom.
I think
that's just a really wonky looking leg.
Yeah, that's not the way you do it. Well, this is weird too. Like her stance, because like it looks like this knee is way too far out.
She's got tiny little arms too.
Yeah,
she's got like T-Rex arms. She's got strong hand.
And then, yeah, this is very strange here. This whole leg is very strange.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, this guy looks pretty all right. Except for his weird helmet.
He's just top heavy.
I love how the Thing decided to put on like overalls to go fight in the city.
It's the Thing. It's the Thing, but it's also it's also of mice and men.
Okay.
Of mice and Thing.
Are you talking about Sling Blade? Is that
No,
what you
I'm talking
meant?
about the Steinbeck of Mice and Men, where he's got the retarded brother in the overalls.
Yeah,
Remember when
that's Sling
Bobby tried
Blade.
to get his dad to play the older brother that's retarded? And he's just walking around with the overalls with one strap loose.
Man, you're talking about Sling Blade. Or is it the same
I'm
movie?
not talking about Sling Blade.
Yeah, it's just weird, man.
Well, to get back to what you had asked earlier, though, how do we take AI and use it in a more positive way?
Yeah.
Let's follow that train for a minute. I think that and we've talked about it before, because and you compared it to the synthesizer, and I think that's a good way to look at it. Like AI and all these CGI assets and stuff, that they're going to continue to be. I mean, when you got a studio like the Marvel Studios using AI to create opening credits for the Secret Invasion movie
Oh, Jesus.
or series or whatever it was, what was that?
Some stupid ad.
You
Yeah.
got major companies that have enormous budgets using AI to phone in their opening credits for a TV show. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, it's clear that that stuff is not going away, and it's going to get more and more integrated into everything. So the best thing you can do is get out in front of it.
Yeah.
Instead of being scared of it, you get out in front of it. You figure out, how can I use this better and in a different way, and with more integrity than anybody else
Integrity.
has. Integrity. Like you you make it work for you, not and then you show people something different.
Well, I don't mind anyone using, like, as principle. I don't mind anyone using these assets. Like, this whole argument has turned into, like, real artists don't use it. Like, I don't care. Like, an artist can use anything if they're good, if they're an actual artist. I mean, that was, I hate to
I
quote John Lennon because he sucked, but he was like, "Hey, give me a tuba and I'll make a hit." You know?
I'm no less of a problem with an artist using a an AI picture or a CG SketchUp asset or whatever. That doesn't bother me at all, any more than it bothered me that Alex Ross uses photos as a reference.
Yeah.
It's fine to use that stuff for reference.
Well, I don't
And if
mind.
it's
Sorry, go
in the
ahead.
background, if you're doing a backdrop, I don't even care if you throw that thing on your light box and to some degree trace over it, as long as you apply your style to it and you're not just exactly tracing or taking that same picture, just running some filters on it and dropping it in the background.
Yeah.
Don't cut corners. Don't be lazy, because that's how you end up with these little elements and artifacts that don't make any sense.
Sigma Centurion says, I wouldn't care whether they used assets and still ended up with subpar art.
Exactly. But that's what happens when you take your eye off the ball. That's what
Mm-hmm.
happens when you phone it in and do something as fast and easy as possible. You end up not looking close enough and realizing, oh, this looks stupid. This doesn't make sense. This is backwards. This dude has no hand, or here's a window that got repurposed 3 times. Like, you end up with something that looks like crap,
Yeah.
and then
It
you've already had somebody pay for it.
was very drag and drop. You could
Yeah,
tell.
yeah. That's not going to cut it, especially in a competitive market where you got so many other people out there that are trying to really pour their heart and soul into something,
Mm-hmm.
and to know that there's somebody getting millions of dollars off of a piece of crap that was phoned in, it's infuriating.
James Craig says, "What baffles me is that Eric knows manga is devouring the market, and yet clearly has not studied manga. I don't,
100%, James.
I don't think he studied political theory either. But we'll,
I don't think he's ever seen a human body, dude. Yeah,
his
agreed.
panel composition is trash. Yeah,
Agreed.
and
There's not a dynamic. I haven't seen a single image of that book that's dynamic.
and you hate throwing artists who get paid under the bus because I don't even know who did the art. I think he outsourced it to like a third party Brazilian company, and that's who did the art.
I don't
But
know.
I know Gabe El Taib did like the colors, and not to rip him, but like even the colors aren't good. And I'm not an artist, but I mean, could you have good colors on bad art? Is that possible, or is it kind of damned because of the art?
I think it's very subjective. I know for me, I think when it comes to the art, your pencil and your pencil, whoever does pencils and whoever does ink, those two people are going to control how well that book turns out.
Yeah.
Anything else, you can put some ugly colors on top of good ink and still have it look awesome.
Well, the thing is, the reason people are dogging him, I think, is because he built his entire platform not just on like libertarianism, but comic books. And he called it his like stuff for canon's sake, and he was the comic book guy out of all the fandominist type dudes. He was the one that kind of knew comics outside of some of the other dudes, like one or two of the other ones. But he had all the comic stuff in the background and all that kind of stuff, and it's like, well, man, when you go into that business, you've been talking trash for like 5 years. You better come out with something good, you know. James Craig says, I can personally confirm that you can override bad base work with good coloring. It's just hard as heck.
Yeah, it's that would be incredibly challenging. But I mean, there's some people out there that can really make stuff look great. But at the end of the day, like if the art was not good in these books, and it's not just his books, it's a lot of books.
Mm-hmm.
If the story was great and the art was you'd still have something that people could get behind and feel like I didn't waste my money. If the story was terrible but the art was phenomenal,
Yeah.
dude, I've got a bunch of books that I love on my shelf, but the story I know the story's not good, the writing's not
Yeah,
good. I
like
just love
I've got
how the art's
I've
fantastic.
got the first 100 issues of Spawn, and I can't tell
Yeah,
you what the storyline is.
but you know, I agree with you, Dan. Like if you're going to build a platform off of your own personality and try to say I'm here to show you how it's done,
Mm-hmm.
now you
Yeah.
can't trip on your and fall on your face at the first thing you release.
Nah. Or if
And
you
it
do, apologize.
was it was it fulfilled on time? I don't even know. Was this book late?
Yeah, because it turned into that. The whole argument turned into the whole late books versus delivered books argument on time, which kind of got established between I think EVS and Iconic Comics because Iconic was delivering quicker books on time because it's more manga style, and
Mm-hmm.
so fans kind of created that split where I don't think
Okay.
either party really created that, and so I think some of the people that are fans of Eric started jumping on that with this and be like, oh, he delivers on time, and it's like, well, I'd rather have a good book. You know, I don't want to wait 3 or 4 years for a book. I mean, one book I backed was like 3 months late, and I like wanted to refund it.
I care about it being on time, but I also would care about it. I'd rather it be
Yeah.
good
Oh yeah, man.
than
I've been waiting
good and a
for.
little late than
I
that.
let Frank Miller go late with Ronin 2 because the guy who's doing his art for Ronin Book 2 is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll let that go late. Joe Quesada, I think was the one writing Daredevil Father back in the day, and that one was always late. I don't even know if it finished, but I mean, I was fine with that one going late because it was so good.
Yeah,
At
if
least the
it's good
first
enough, I
couple of
don't
issues
care.
were, yeah,
Yeah, if it's good enough, I don't care. I do think that with an indie book, there's a certain degree of good faith
yeah,
that you once you've lost it, it's
mm-hmm.
really hard to get it back.
Yeah,
Yeah, and that's why with our book with Apollyon, we've tried to say, look, we're not going, and this will, and I hope to God this will never come back to bite me, but like I'm never going to ask you for money or ask you to support our book if it's not finished.
yeah,
Like by the time we put a campaign up, that book is done. Now there may be some last minute formatting or a little bit of editing or something, but like that book is going to be finished. You're not going to be waiting for months and months and months. Like as soon as our campaign ends,
yeah. We're
like
we're, we're printing it.
we're sending it to the printers. We're ordering those books, and as soon as they come in, we're sending them out to you with free stuff.
Yep. And that's not to just shill everything, but I mean, I think that's the thing. I think that's why people have got a problem with Eric July and this because like he didn't earn his comic book position. Like you can argue he earned his YouTube position. That's fine.
Yeah.
But it's like, but man, whenever you enter something as sacred as art in comic books, man, you start at the bottom with everybody else, and that's what's coming back to bite his ass right now.
Mm-hmm.
Is the comic book world, the fans expect quality, especially when you've contributed years of bad mouthing the two biggest corporations providing it.
And then
You've
you
got
put
to
out something
deliver.
that looks worse than what they are making,
Yeah, and that's
which is
hard to
hard
do.
to accomplish.
There are some ugly looking indie books,
Whew.
man, but at least their ugliness is like consistent. This is like,
They're so ugly, they're cute.
yeah, this one is
It
like
just
it's a Pandora's box of ugly.
it's one of those things where it just you're you wrote a check you couldn't cash with it, and I think that's the problem.
Yeah. Now with AI, and this is my standpoint on it, I think it's a wonderful reference idea because you can
Mm-hmm.
throw something like in there, get an idea, and then go with it, and you can leave it there where it is and keep going. The 3D asset thing, I could see you building something cool with. Like I said, like if you gave me, I'm not an artist, but if you gave me like a day with the 3D asset thing and a basic understanding of how to maneuver them in like Photoshop, I could make something kind of cool. I could make like
Yeah,
a poster or something with it
yeah.
because that's what an artist does. But I just don't get it, man. I hate to say it, man, but because this is a bold statement, um, I think he's kind of revealing because like, if Alpha Core is not good, which is probably not, and it was written by Chuck Dixon, what does that mean like for Chuck Dixon? Like, is Eric just like road blocking talent, or a lot of these guys just not able to stand on their own outside of the big two with a bunch of other great professionals? And I'm
Hmm.
not saying that about Chuck Dixon, but that's kind of what Image revealed was a lot of these guys that were fantastic artists.
Not great writers.
Yeah, they had there's something there that especially the Marvel method of exchanging exchanging of ideas that happen almost unconsciously when it goes from level to level and things get changed and things get better and things get edited. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Sigma Centurion claim hired the best in the business. That's what Eric claimed. Yeah. Result: Cliff Richards and his 3D models. Do you know who Cliff Richards is? I'm not familiar.
No, but I'm about to find out.
Yeah. Cliff Richards, comic. Yeah. Oh, nothing good came up. They all share it. Let me put it up on here. Thanks, Sigma Centurion. Just if that's his work, oh, that's not great.
Nah,
Is this him? Is this his? Oof. Even that color's not good, man. Like even the shading's not good. That rogue's not bad. If that's him, that's not bad. I mean, that's kind of uncanny.
I'm pretty sure he didn't draw that.
Yeah, that well, the eyes there are kind of like uncanny valley a little bit. That's not him.
He's a penciler.
Yeah, but then he's to blame. Like this doesn't look good at all. Jeez.
Mm.
Well, sucks to be Cliff Richards, I guess. I mean, he's more successful than I am, I guess, but a lot of this stuff looks absolutely atrocious. Well, whatever. I'm not an artist.
Thank God, right?
Yeah, I'm even worse. But there has to be a. I don't know, man. To me, this is a good turning point for indie comics. To me,
Yeah,
it's like the heroes that have been built up that are because this is great for Ethan Van Sciver. this has been
yeah.
this has been probably
This is he
probably
got a wonderful Christmas present.
yeah, this has been probably his biggest victory lap ever. Like I said, I hadn't followed him really before all this, but like I could see like this dude's having a field day, and
Mm-hmm.
you can't blame him because this showed the world kind of the truth, like that you need actual artists.
Mm-hmm.
And it showed that not only do you need artists, but you need guys that know this business and know how to do it. And then when I watched his video of him reviewing ISOM and like the just the simple notes that he gave, I'm like, this dude knows how to make comics.
Yeah.
Like he eviscerated it like a really good editor would. And of course, I'm sure he had some personal jabs in there, but he then he like held up like his book Cyberfrog beside it, and it's like, oof.
Yeah,
It was bad. It was really
yeah.
bad.
That's the thing is when you sit it side by side. I mean, it's pretty clear.
Well, what do you think though, man? Like, what do you, as an artist moving forward with indie comics, man? Like, I view everything, from a writer standpoint, kind of like a big conceptual or narrative. Like, to me, I see this as our indie guys like ourselves need to buckle down, go 100% punk, push forward, deliver on time, deliver big, huge things that like surprise people, deliver
Well, and
quality.
that's a
Yeah,
big piece of it. You know, I look at something like the Rippaverse, and it doesn't seem to have scope.
yeah,
It doesn't look like it. It doesn't feel like it has legs.
yeah.
You know, and I think that
Well,
that's
you can't tell where the calves start on the legs.
that's I think that's a problem from a storytelling standpoint. Is that this it just doesn't feel it feels very limited. It feels very small.
Mm-hmm.
I think from an art standpoint,
It sucks.
so so much of this stuff looks the same. So much of it has that just paint by numbers look to it. I miss style.
Yeah.
And I think that that's the biggest thing that we're missing is we need writers that are actually really good writers that are not necessarily artists, just really good writers.
Mm-hmm.
And you need artists that have an actual vision
Yeah. Well, those are
and
two
an
very rare
individual
things
style.
you just said, though.
Huh?
Both of those are two very rare things you just said.
They are, but
Mm-hmm.
you need somebody that like Sam Keith
Mm-hmm.
that's just has a very distinct style. And that's one of those that was the best thing about comics in the 80s, 90s, and 70s. On that, you had artists who were just rock star artists.
Yeah.
And then you had really great writers so that those teams worked together so well that you created stuff that's still worth reading.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what we need is we need good teams, good creative teams. Dude, when you put Greg Capullo and Scott Snyder together on those Batman runs that they did, man, that was phenomenal. Some of the best stuff that we've seen in comics from DC in forever.
Yeah. Um, James Craig, real talk. I'm very suspicious of anyone trying to crowdfund a comic and their contribution is writing, but they haven't written before. Well, I'm gonna say two things with that. First of all, my biggest pet peeve since we got into indie comics just was we spent a year just observing indie comics,
Mm-hmm.
and we kind of went. We didn't really realize all the tiers and the groups. We were like, we don't really know what's comics.
All
Hey,
the
we
clicks and drama and crap,
yeah, or in legitimate groups like we didn't know
the
this was
Sharks
going
and
to
the
be
Jets.
yeah. Like, but we kind of got an idea of it now and don't care. Like, we stay out of drama. But I'm gonna say this: my biggest pet peeve was there was at that time, like a year or two ago, no one was showing the writing. No one they were showing internal pages that was just art. It's like that's great, man. I don't buy books just for art unless it's Jim Lee or Todd McFarlane, someone like there's Sam Keith. Like if I don't know you and your art's kind of okay, I'm still not gonna pay like 35 bucks for it and then $10 shipping or whatever. So no, I get it. And so when we did our sign up page, we give the first chapter away for free. And and not to self promote, but I guess that's kind of what we're here for, James. But I spent 8 years writing a novel before I wrote any comic, and wrote all through high school, wrote through college, minored in literature, majored in music because why not? But by the time I finished that novel, I knew how to write. And that one, that novel is probably like it's like novel number 3 of my first novel, basically, because you rewrite it 2 or 3 times. But anyway, that's not to promote. We are selling that novel later this year that goes with the Godfrey universe. But I agree 100%, James. That's one of my biggest suspicions too. Is hey man, you got nothing to be afraid of. If you can put your art up there, you can put your writing up there.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah, if you
back
hide
it
that
up.
from me, if you hide that from me, then I'm not going to trust you.
Mm-hmm.
I need to see that you put some thought into that story. And I need to see, and this is another big problem that we talked about with the indie stuff. I want to see that this story has legs beyond one issue.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's got to be more story than a 10-page ash can or a 24-page book.
Yeah.
Like I've got to know that there's more story than that coming before I invest in something.
Oh yeah. Thanks, James. I appreciate it, man. We'll have it up later this year.
Yeah, the cool thing about the novel, like, because our graphic novel that's come out right now that we're funding right now is at the beginning of our timeline. Yeah, Polly, and that's the start of our timeline. The
Yeah.
novel is actually at the very final, the last era of our
Mm-hmm.
timeline, and then the book that's the comic that's coming out later this year, Kolga, is kind of smack dab in the middle of our timeline. So ideally, we're going to have all like three different eras
Yep.
consistently rolling, and then in between stuff.
And they can all be enjoyed as their own standalone piece of artwork or story, or as a greater whole.
But
So this.
I get so tired of reading dialogue in a comic that nobody talks
Mm-hmm.
that way.
Or it's written like every stupid Netflix show for teens that you read. It's all the same dialogue.
Art
And
direction falls apart when you have Eric's level of communication skills. That's true too. Like the delegation and maintaining the vision. That's why Dan and I, dude, we talk almost every day.
mm-hmm. And here's some background. I hate sharing this story, but I feel like I have to. Because it's the most central event that happened. Josh and I knew each other for about 10 years, and we from music scene. We're both musicians. We spitballed this kind of story idea back and forth. 2020 happened. My brother committed suicide. I called Josh and we're like, we're making like a comic. Like we're doing this. We talked for like we talked for a year every day and we built two comics and we made them bigger than they actually are now and then we whittled them down while he did all the art direction, all that kind of stuff, and I finished the novel that we will eventually go on to sell as an actual novel instead of these graphic novels. And all that time we studied indie comics and we looked at all the things we did not want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And part of that is what you just said, Sigma Centurion. I guess I'm not trying to take a pot shot at Eric, but I mean his communication skills do seem to be very much lacking. He kind of flounders when he speaks, and he kind of says a little too much, I think, to say nothing. And claiming you'll be able to hit 100 issues and being able to pull it off are two different things. Here's the thing, man. That hits us close to home because for Biophile Kolga, which is the next comic that we're releasing that's also in this universe, and we use the term universe with big ball energy because it's an actual universe that we've mapped out. We mapped out 100 issues of Kolga before we wrote anything. Knew exactly where every arc was going to go. We use the term arc. I know mangas use the term arc. It doesn't matter. It's all art. So, no, you're absolutely right. And then to be able to sit down and write the dialogue and write the scene changes for every one of those issues, it's tedious, but it's not impossible. But
Mm-hmm.
you have to be able to pull it off. And I think if you're someone like, I hate to say this, man, but a lot of these guys I think that do YouTube full time are just now trying to start to create things, and they don't realize that, man, you can't be streaming 8 to 10 hours and then trying to write something. Your
Mm-mm.
brain is fried looking at a screen all day.
That, and you also you can't make that stuff up as you go and expect it to be good either. Like,
Mm-hmm.
there's a reason we spent almost 10 years developing all this stuff before we started actually working on anything, physically creating any of it, is because we wanted to make sure we know where all of it's going and where it all how it all fits together, so that we don't have to turn around and retcon something, or have something go on for longer than it should because we don't know how to end it or anything like that. When you already know where that story is going,
Mm-hmm.
then you can sit down and take it a piece at a time and create it without having to string people along or leave people waiting for you to deal with your writer's block.
Yeah.
It's
And I loved him, but like was it Dave Sim with Cerebus saying it's gonna be 300 issues, and the last 100 issues are just kind of wavering water. And it should have ended at 200,
yeah.
stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what you learn as a writer, though, is you think it's gonna be like this size, and then it turns out, oh, it's going to be massive, and then you whittle it down to what's necessary, and it's probably close to here.
Yeah.
And so you can't overpromise. Oh, it's going to be 100 issues. Like you only really probably get 50 issues of story, and then if you really edited it, like
And then
the
an edited.
if you really edited it like the Marvel method back in the day, it'd probably be like 20 issues.
Mm-hmm.
B.A. Turner, Vigilantes Creed says, Hail Jabronis. What's up, dude? He's actually selling 2 novels and a mini comic on his Indiegogo, which I will pull up right now. I don't think he needs the advertisement. I'm going to throw it out anyway. He's doing fantastic. And I got to tell you, I'm so sorry I don't actually know your actual name, B.A. Turner, but I'm going to pull up your project here.
That's Turner.
But I think I applaud the balls it takes that you are, Brent Turner, you are successfully funding a novel within the comic area. I think that's
Yeah,
great, man.
that's really cool, man. And that's
Or,
another piece of it too, is getting outside of just comics. Like
mm-hmm.
comics can be so much more than what we're seeing. Yeah, man, your campaign's going great.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Oh,
Congrats,
no
dude.
problem, Brent. Yeah, man, good job. I when it first came out, I was like, this dude's gonna do novels because like that's what we're planning on doing this year. Because I've written one. I just told the whole story of that. It's been 8 years writing it. We got it done. It's part of our world. And then I saw this and I was like, oh, he found a really good way to blend these two. I think
Yeah,
that's great.
that's
So we're
awesome.
probably gonna steal some of your ideas.
Yeah, man, the Lovecraft stuff with gargles, that's awesome.
Like I'm probably gonna have
Peace,
this guy
James. Thanks for
draw
hanging
me a
out,
mini
man.
comic for it. Yeah, James, I love it, man. Thanks for coming here and for being here last time. Take it off, man. Uh,
Yeah, that's
Thanks,
awesome.
Brent. I appreciate it, man.
Very
Oh,
cool.
and James, good luck on the short story, man. And this guy right here, Josh, do you want to plug any of that eventually? Some of your short story. I know you had a whole horror site dedicated
Yeah,
to
I've
it at
got
some point.
I've got several horror short stories on medium.com. Just look up Josh Adams or Joshua Adams on medium.com. I got
Mm-hmm.
several just short horror stories that are, I think, fun reads, short reads.
Yeah, but no, I mean, I'm not gonna go off too much, but I looked this over and I was real impressed by it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And I know you got is it Joe Ball here to do this cover right here. Looks very
Did that?
berserk.
Yeah, that's like, yeah, I was
Mm-hmm.
about to say it's got a lot of berserk in it. That's awesome.
Yeah. So no, I
And see
think
that, and there's actual style, actual depth, good
yeah,
shading, good colors. Yeah, that looks awesome.
yeah, and I think putting those two together, like bleeding into the indie comics community, was a really good idea. I think that was really cool.
That's great,
He
man.
says, yep, Joe. I don't know Joe. I've just seen his work because everybody's seen his work.
Hey,
Even
Joe.
even though they was an Indiegogo Kickstarter, they tried to blacklist him or whatever, shadow ban him. You get to
I heard he
search.
shot his woman down.
Yeah, that's why they shadow banned.
Hey, Joe.
But no, man, it's I don't think art needs to be like you don't have to overthink art. I think we've kind of done that a lot. I think that's why you get this 3D asset kind of stuff, these 3D models. So I think people would think product, get it out. No one go sit in like a dark room and wait for the ideas to come, and then take up the time to get up early, like at 4 or 5 in the morning, or stay up late till like midnight, perfecting it,
Well,
getting it out and
yeah,
drawing it. Yeah,
I feel like it's dangerous to let that stuff out into the wild before you've had a chance to really edit it and
yep.
look at it 1,000 times and catch the
And it
mistakes.
sucks.
It does suck. It's
Yeah,
it's terrible. That part was not fun at all. But like every time that you said, "Hey, man, let's look at this again," that page ended up better.
yep,
Like every time that we caught something that, man, it's okay, but yeah, at the end of the day, yeah, maybe I don't feel like redrawing that part or adding to that page, but I can't send out something that I know could have been better.
yeah,
And that, I think it's just that's the honesty. That's the integrity part.
yeah.
Where if you're going to ask people to support you, if you don't care about it enough to make it the best you can make it, then why would anybody else care about it?
Or what? You clearly don't care about it if you're not going to bleed for it,
Exactly.
and that's something.
The agony and the ecstasy of creation.
Yeah, and what's his name? Charles Bukowski said that. He said, "Find something you love and let it kill you."
Mhm.
And he said, "Writing is easy. You just show up and bleed."
Nice.
And let me sneeze real quick. Yep, sorry about that. But I don't know, man. Like, art, if you're not doing it because it burns you up inside and it makes you want to vomit if you don't get it out, I don't know why you do it. I don't know why you would try. I mean, there's a million other ways to make money. There's a million other ways to be cool. Like,
Mm.
go learn to juggle.
Well, I mean, and that's the thing. You know, with me, I'll work on pages for hours. You know, for one of our books, and then I'll still turn around and be sitting on the couch watching TV, and I've got my tablet out drawing again because
Mm-hmm.
I have to be doing it.
Oh
I
yeah.
can't stop doing it.
Well, I don't,
So
and not to go back to it, but uh, Brent here, who's got the Vigilantes Creed novels coming out. Like, I really hope that there is a way to like introduce novels and that kind of stuff and reading into comics because I mean that's part of the problem with indie comics. I feel like is a lot of these guys don't read anything outside of comics or manga, and movies are great, but I mean you should be reading. Like
mhm.
there's almost nothing you can do that's better for your brain and the artistic experience than reading.
Yeah,
I don't know. I can't get off that horse. Like I've got books on my wall all the way over here, and I know no one can see it, but like your both of your walls are nothing but books,
yeah, yeah,
and I don't know. The laziness to use 3D models and just throw them in there. I like AI art if you use it well. And some of our I think the Revelations has some that we use because what I did was took what it kind of tried to do and then recreated it and then changed it and then added more stuff and it's supposed to be an in-world AI that created it.
yeah,
So there's ways to do things that are respectful of the original artist because you distort it so much that it's not theirs and you don't sell something like that. Like we'd use it as a perk as an add-on, but I've refused to like sell just AI art. You know,
yeah. That's not
it's not right.
nah. It's not ethical.
No, ethical. So anyway, I'm willing to call it a night right there. I
Yeah, I
don't
feel
want
like
to
that's
beat
a good
this.
place. I don't want to. We don't want to beat this horse too far, but thanks to
No.
everybody that stopped in.
Mm-hmm.
I know a few guys already had to drop back out, but you know, indie comics can be more than it is. It has to be. It is. It needs to be. It deserves to be. And you know, we're giving the best that we can give, and you know, hopefully that feels like throwing down a gauntlet to some degree. But I think that's what everybody should do. If you're indie,
Mm-hmm.
if you're doing it the punk way, you know, then that's what you need to do. Everything it's kind of like back in the 80s, you know, when all the thrash metal and stuff was starting to come out. It seemed like every album that came out was like a
A
throwing
banger.
it down in front of everyone else and say, "All right, top
Yeah,
that."
because they were competing with each other.
Yeah. And I think that's what people need to realize. It's not about being friends. It's not about hanging out. It's I mean, like I have
Yeah.
respect for anybody that earns it, but
Mm-hmm.
you know, we're not in this to make friends. We're in
Yeah.
this to make art, to make it
Yeah,
tell a good story.
and the best way that I think, especially like dudes and art that make friends, is to keep challenging one another.
Yeah.
It's
Put
to
out
be like,
something that makes me want to do better.
yeah, and then I want to do that with you, and then I think that friendly competition is the best way to make friends in an artistic field, in my
Yeah.
opinion. Because
That's
I
the
don't,
iron sharpening iron.
yeah,
It's when Eddie plays eruption and every other guitarist says, "Okay, I got to figure out like how to do something."
And then Ingve has to come on the scene. Yeah, yeah, I agree. I mean, I don't know. It's we need a little bit more like sportsmanship and masculine energy. I think in art,
Yeah,
and I don't know a little bit of ribbing. I think.
for your comfort.
Well, we'll start just ripping on rip a verse. But all right, thanks for coming out, fellas. We doing this once a week at least, Sunday or Monday nights, and we really appreciate everybody coming out. And you get any last words, Josh?
No,
Let's
just
flip
if you
over
haven't
the
checked out the
campaign one more.
campaign, yeah, if you haven't watched the trailer yet or any of that stuff, give it a look. Um, we still got 8 days left, so
Yep.
if you want to get some of those freebies while
Yeah.
they're
When
available.
it goes in demand, the posters and the stickers will not be available after that. So let me pull that down. I'll show it one more time. This is the poster. Here's the little chibi stickers. So that's fun little stuff. But once it goes in demand, those that perk is gone. Sigma Centurion, last comment of the night. Try to top that over and over again. Yeah, and that reminds me of the scene from was it Teen Witch, the top that rap.
I don't know. I never heard of that.
Everybody search Teen Witch top that. It's awful, but that's what that reminds me of. But yeah, you're absolutely right, Sigma. So thanks for coming out, guys. I'm going to end it there, and we'll see you next time. Peace.